And a couple of times, Kristen, you mentioned this idea of prototyping. Can you talk a little bit about that, like in terms of prototyping as a cycle of iterative thinking?
Absolutely. So there are 5 steps in the design process: empathy, define, ideate, prototype, and feedback. And all of the steps have their moments and they shine. The one I think that's most interesting to me is prototyping because of that iterative thinking. So when we are prototyping, we're actually building something, right? And so we're taking a bias towards action. We've probably all been in a situation where we've talked a problem to death, and what we really needed to do is just get started. And we get stuck in this mode of, well, is it going to work? It has to be perfect. The first time around, we've got to hit all of these nails on the head and make sure everything is pristine. But one, that's very difficult to do. And 2, it just simply isn't true. We don't have to do that. What prototyping does is it takes us out of the mode of getting it right, and it puts us into the mode of, let's just try it. And so by switching that frame of mind, we've really come to this crucial step, this iterative critical thinking process that ultimately allows us to continue to develop the design. We've tried something in a very low resolution model. You know, we're not spending tons of money. We see what works and we see what doesn't work. It really gives us the opportunity to fail early and to fail forward. And so, for example, one of the things that some teachers are working on in my district was they were looking at creating an app for 5th graders transitioning into 6th grade to make that transition easier. And so instead of diving right into the technology, they used the design process. And when they got to that prototype stage, they started with paper copies of each layer of the app. And so they were drawing or writing each layer on a Post-it note. And as they went deeper and deeper into the process, they could see where they missed a step and they had to back up, or where there was a hole in some way. And so, you know, it took 15, 20 minutes, maybe an hour of their time, a pen and a stack of Post-it notes. So it's a very low resolution. And so it was a very minimal investment, low resolution. It gave them that opportunity to say, oh, that didn't work, let me throw it away. Because literally all they had to do was crumple up a Post-it and toss it in the trash. That was what they were giving up, nothing, you know? And as opposed to spending thousands of dollars on something and being very attached to it. So when we prototype in this way, it's really the perfect breeding ground for iterative thinking to take place, because we're not expected or even encouraged to hold on to the original idea. It's, this is good, how do we make it better? And we do that in small iterative steps. So that's why I love prototyping. It just makes a good idea even better.
Wonderful. Excellent. Well, thank you.